Hi everyone, this is Professor Lucien. Every week I'm going to put together a really short review video for you based on the previous week's information and then give you some tips for the coming week. In chapters 1 and 2, you were introduced to what is really research. And I saw a lot of your comments on the discussion board supporting that. A lot of you contended, yeah, I've done problem solving before, and I used to believe that looking something up was research, but now you find that it's something different than that, and that's building the foundation. A couple other things I wanted to point out is here, research is a cyclical process, and it's also not a linear process, algorithmic. Sometimes you move 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but that's the nature of it. It's developing a learning technique for not only yourself to create a study, but then to educate others. Over on the right here, really what we're going to be doing in this course, is planning the study and doing a literature review. That's as far as we're going. We're just going to write a research proposal. And I've said this in other videos, I believe that 80% of the work that goes into a study is the proposal, putting it together. There are some key points here that I wanted to make. And you see the word learning is in here. The course is designed to allow you to experience failure and to learn from it. I wasn't given the mentoring, guidance, coaching that you're receiving in this course when I learned it. I pretty much was on my own, learning it with my lab mates and everything. But the professors allowed us, to fail, to learn from it, and I believe that is the essence of scientific thinking, is to come to the realization that this isn't right. I have to change something, and what do I have to change? And adopting that process is really what makes you become a good researcher, a good scientist. Also, reflection and discussion are very important, and that's why we have the discussion board for this course, that you can talk to each other and learn from each other. At the beginning, a lot of the questions were related to how you're feeling, what are you thinking? As we move forward through the semester, you'll see that focus changes to what you're thinking about, what you're planning to do, and to provide feedback to each other. Learning is continuous improvement. It really, if you're doing it right. And that is the reflection, maybe some measures or data that helps drive you forward. And adopting the mindset of what you don't know, you don't know. That was key to my advancement when I was in graduate school. Sometimes we have to learn better. Some of you are interested in investigating forms of safety training. And one thing that I learned over the past year and a half is that as we had to go completely remote or online with a lot of our courses, sometimes I had to take time to teach the students how to learn virtually. So maybe that's something you want to be thinking about. And last, and this was a quote from my mentor in graduate school, is that practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. In order to really, this course wouldn't be successful if it wasn't for myself, Naomi Shem, the folks at the Office of Sponsored and Research, ORSP, Office of Research and Sponsored Projects, and others supporting you. Please reach out to us. We're here to help you. You need a guide. You need a mentor. You need a coach in order to get through this. I don't believe scientific thinking can just occur on its own because you need something to grasp onto. You need someone to point out, to really understand and reflect on how to improve. I feel like I'm babbling, but over on the right, you've probably already read them, but I've got a few things here that we as human beings often fall short of reasoning capacities because of these basic things. And these are not meant to be a political statement. These were written years and years and years ago. But it's interesting how easy it is to observe these things, especially in social media posts. People's beliefs are not validated scientifically or validated through research we tend to default to what feels right. And in doing research and being scientific in our evaluation, we can't do that. Got to hold that stuff aside. Chapter 2, we started getting into the research problem, and that's what you guys are really going to be focusing on for the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks actually. What's interesting is this week, and I'm going to get into, I'm jumping ahead, we're going to be getting into how to use library resources. And you may look at it and go, well, I've used the library before. But the thing is, you use the library before, one, to possibly find entertainment through reading, or two, to find an answer. You're now doing it to better define a problem. So you're not looking for an answer, you're attempting to define what we already know about something, and then attempting to use that basis to propose a question that needs to be answered. And you're going to justify that it needs to be answered, and you're going to provide context and scope, and then all the background information so as a reader understand why it's important and what you're going to attempt to do, and then leading up to sub-problems or the research objectives. And so that's what we're going to be working on over the next several weeks. It's not easy, and you're probably not going to make it on the first try. Rarely does anybody make it on the first try. It's a cyclic process, trial and error. Maybe not every week, but at least at the beginning few weeks, what I want to do is at least give you some sort of resemblance of how you're performing compared to your peers in the class. So I am very analytical, and I do track the time you spend on the website, the course website, and what you look at, the number of looks. I mean, it's an objective measure, may not mean anything, but here you can kind of see that the average number of touches was about 150. Somebody had really gone in there and spent a lot of time, 428 touches, the minimum was 25. As far as time, the average was 8.5 hours. That's excellent. That's right. Here's the thing. These are right in line with previous semesters. So no issue here. Median was 7.4 hours. Max is 25 hours. That doesn't mean somebody was actually on for 25 hours. They may have logged in and left it on. The minimum was 1 hour. Some people, again, this was taken in the morning on Sunday, and some of you might have done a lot of your work on Sunday. The average score for the discussion was 88. The median was 85. I try to provide a description of how I grade these. And I'm always a tough grader the first week, possibly the first 2 weeks. Still want to give you motivation to want to do more. Getting on there and speaking to your classmates, and I'll go on there and also reply and put things in. That's really important. That's a key part of this class. You know, it being an online class. You can do the readings and the quiz and the assignment yourself, but the discussion is something that I'm going to have to ask a little bit more of you all. So my recommendation is, if you can try and post 2 to 3 original posts and 1 to 2 responses by Friday, again, that's maybe 10 minutes 3 times during the week, a half hour total. That's all I'm asking for. And then Saturday and Sunday, if you want to get on there and read some other people's stuff and post some replies, 8 very good posts will earn you 100 out of 100. And we did, people did get 100 out of 100. I think we had about 5 people who were very prolific this first week, and I hope they continue on. But if you just get on a Sunday evening and try to post 6 things, that may garner you 80 or 85 depending on the quality of them, because nobody's looking at your responses. They're you speaking to you. There's no interaction there. So I'd ask that you try to finish up your discussions by Sunday morning. I think that would be a great goal. And you can go back and then read other people's stuff and post, but I think the discussions stay open until like Tuesday or Wednesday. So again, as I had stated in my intro video, go on the discussion board early and often. The quiz, everybody did very well. 9s and 10s were the scores. This was an easy quiz. They're going to get a little bit more sophisticated as we go. The average time was just under 6 minutes out of the allotted, I believe, 30. So learn what works for you. You can have your book available. I'm not trying to regulate it or anything. You have 2 chances to take it. So figure out what works for you. It's just verification that you're doing the readings. That's what that number means. And then the assignment itself, the average was 94, median was 95. If you didn't receive the 95 or a 100, I posted the answer keys so you can take a look at it. I didn't provide individual feedback this week because really this assignment was meant to get you not motivated. I want you to use the citation management software that Naomi Shem is teaching you to use this week. That writing each of your references individually using the AP guide is not the way to go. It's better to use a system to do that for you. Other observations, in general, it's early. I appreciate everybody who posted information about yourself on the icebreaker. I actually documented all that just to get a little bit more insight into you all. I would like to create possibly an additional office hour. I'll talk about it at the end, but nobody showed up on Wednesday. One person showed up on Friday, one person showed up on Sunday. And as we move into the course, I would like to meet with each of you on your time, on your schedule. But it'd be good if we could meet as a group. Last summer, I think it was a Thursday evening, we were getting anywhere from 12 to 18 students on an office hour, and we didn't just talk about the class. We would initially, and then we moved into other things. And I thought, and they really like that, and that's getting more out of the course than you normally would. But in graduate school, it was those discussions, sometimes side discussions or off-topic discussions, that I learned a lot. Not only about what I could do to improve, but better idea of where I was in the learning process. For this week, you're going to begin learning to use the library website and its many resources in order to generate your literature search and review. And it's somewhat, again, it's cyclic, but it's somewhat, you come up with a plan, you identify the keywords, which will probably evolve. You'll identify some papers that you want to read, and that will evolve as well. And we'll get into more efficient ways to review what you find. But what you're trying to do is really establish what is known about the topic you're interested in. And in the discussion, I bring up the term of go down the rabbit hole. And that's a practice of getting on and searching and finding a paper and reading it. And then possibly grapevining off of a reference, or learning something new or interesting from it, and then going off on that tangent. I know when I was in graduate school, I let myself do that quite a bit, and I had more time back then. You may not have as much time to do it, but I would take advantage. It'll make your skills in doing literature searches and the capturing of citations in the management software better. And you may find a topic, sometimes you land on a topic that you had no idea existed, and you started over here and you ended over here, and now you're really interested in what's going on over here. And I do recommend you try that. That's what this is all about. This is a good time to do it in the class, because starting next week, you really need to start narrowing. Although reading on the discussion board already, some of you already have a really good idea of what you want to do. That's fantastic. Some of you are still, I'm not sure what I want to do. That's all right as well. Get on there and start searching. That's the key. You'll probably center in on a favorite database. The search criteria become very important, and Naomi Shem in her videos talks about using Boolean somethings, factors, indicators, in order to combine things or things or quote things. Use those phrases and combinations to either widen your search, narrow your search, and then you use other search engines. When you use multiple search engines and similar words, and you're only coming up with the same group, well, then that's really all that's there. Make sure you're tracking your searches, because it's really easy to get lost, and then almost like Hansel and Gretel, you lay the breadcrumbs to follow where you're back. And I don't know why I thought of Hansel and Gretel. That's weird. But if you're not tracking what you do, you almost have to go back and retrace your steps. And I learned that in grad school. I went down a few rabbit holes and wasn't sure how I got to where I was from where I started. So I had to go back and retrace. And I was redoing things. And so it saves time if you track it as you do it. If this doesn't come to you naturally, that's okay. That happens, and it's through practice that you get good at it. It's like riding a bike. It really is. It's a skill set that you just develop and you gain your balance, and then it's always kind of there. Please share your findings and reach out to me if you have questions. I'm here to help. If there's a different time or day of the week that works better for you, please reach out to me. Let me know. I don't want to do too much during evenings. I would do one evening. The problem is I have a daughter who's in softball, 2 different leagues, and it's difficult for me to carve out time. But maybe at an 8 o'clock Central, I could maybe do something like that. But please reach out to me and let me know. This is way longer than my review videos should be. But please, with the discussion board, get on early and often. Talk to each other. It's really important that you guys are learning from each other, and then I will also not only learn from you, but then assist as I see the need. But sometimes you may feel in this course that it's like, well, why is he making me do this? There's a reason for it. I've created this course as almost an accelerated version of research methods, so that you are developing the skills and understanding what they mean as you go through versus finding it all out on your own. And that's what I had to do when I was in graduate school. So please reach out to me if you have questions. Otherwise, I will see you on the discussion board.